Hey everyone, Phlashweb here. In this video I'm going to be talking about when and whether you should be getting a digital marketing specialist involved in your business. Coming up. Hey everyone, so the main reason I wanted to post this video today was it was in a discussion with someone yesterday around whether they should enlist someone to do their marketing campaigns for them. And basically there was an objection there which I thought was definitely worth sharing the discussion about. And the objection was that they said it's just too expensive to hire someone to do their marketing campaigns for them whilst they're spending so much money on marketing. Because essentially the idea was that it costs them more money than they've got in their budget. I obviously had a fair few things to say about that, but I wanted to summarise what the conversation was and explain why it's, if you're spending, this is for you really, if you're spending a decent amount of money per month on a marketing campaign continuously. Let's say you've got a marketing budget, let's say £1,000 or maybe less, maybe it's even a few £100s, and you're spending that month on month recurring, and you're using it to get leads or generate awareness or whatever the case may be. So in this case they were spending around, I think it was just under £1,000 a month on getting leads and had awareness campaigns and things, but they weren't getting great conversion, it seemed like. And I said, why don't you just get someone in to help with your campaigns and improve their performance? And they were like, oh, it's too expensive. And the summary of that situation is, my response to that is, and for you to benefit from, I think, is what you've got to think about is, what is it costing you to not have someone in, and what's the barriers for you doing that, right? Most of the time people's barriers are cost, right? They think, oh, it's too expensive, and then the second thing is they feel like they're going to be locked into this arrangement, right? So I think there's ways around both of those things. The first thing is cost, right? All you need to do is say, look, this is my budget for this kind of spend, and depending on who the advertising agency are, a lot of people can work around that. You know, they can say, okay, well, we can do this for you, X, for that amount of money, right? And X might be, you know, if they deliver on X, it may well save you more money, and really it should save you more money than it's going to cost you, essentially, because if they're improving conversion, or they're improving performance, or they're generating awareness, or they're generating leads, or they're helping you to access your clients better, then that should generate revenue, right? That's the whole point. So if they're any good, then usually money spent there should convert to a net positive figure anyway. The second thing is, most people are sort of resistant to the idea of, you know, spending a load of money on a marketing client, because they think, oh, it's so much money, right? One, as I say, there's a range of different things you can spend your money on, and it's worth having a conversation with someone. The second thing is, you can just try someone, right? You can just say, look, I don't want to commit to a whatever contract, and there's flexibility in most companies in that area as well, and just give them a try, right? Say, like, this is the, you've got 2 months or 3 months or whatever, let's see what you can do, right? And then, you know, you basically open the possibility that they may save you a significant amount of money, or they may make you a significant amount of money, and your net downside is whatever it is that you spent for 3 months, basically. So it's not huge, right? And the upside is significant, basically. So I think it's a good way to look at it like that. Yeah, so the other thing I was going to say was, you need to think about the compound cost of not having effective marketing campaigns, right? So over time, you're going to be spending X on your advertising budget, and it may be that they're like, I mean, there's always efficiencies that can be made on advertising campaigns, right? And unless you're an expert, then, or someone with experience, then you're unlikely to be hitting the peak of your optimized campaigns on your own. The third thing I wanted to say was that with advertising spend, it's rarely the case that you're at the absolute peak of efficiency in terms of how you're reaching your audience. I mean, it's near impossible to gauge that anyway, but there's always a road to improvement, right? A road to increase conversion, a road to cheaper conversion, roads to better audiences and things like that. And you need to think about what the compound cost of your campaigns being less efficient is, right? So if you're spending a decent amount of money per month, even a few £100 per month, over a year, that adds up to a few £1,000s, right? And a few £1,000s you could have invested in some consulting, or you could have invested in a short period with a marketing company who may have, dramatically affected your campaigns. They may have halved the conversion costs, in 3 months or something. So the compound cost of inefficiency can be very expensive if you're spending any reasonable amount of money. It's also very expensive from the point of view of lost potential customers, right? So not just the fact that you're not really accessing them, you're spending money in Facebook and you're sort of not reaching people that are that interested in your thing, but also you're not, so there's that aspect, there's the sort of money thrown away bit, but there's also money not properly spent bit, right? So so if you're targeting, if someone has let's say you talk to a marketing agency and they've identified that there's another avatar you could potentially reach, another client that you could potentially reach that's really good for your product, they've identified it, set it up, set the marketing up. Now you've got a massive opportunity, right, that you wouldn't have had prior to that engagement. And that's something that is very worth considering when you're thinking about your marketing spend, right, and whether you should get someone in to do consulting. Because even if they gave you just that insight, and you're running the campaigns yourself, then there's still massive upside there. So I would think about it slightly differently. That my response to this guy in summary was, switch your mindset around slightly and think about what's the downside. Downside is I spend a few extra £100 a month, let's say, on an advertising agent, see how they do. Potential upside, they massively increase conversion, open up new client possibilities, improve your marketing campaigns overall, get you more awareness, get you more engagement, get you more customers. So the upsides are significant, the downsides fairly small, I think. So I think it's definitely worth doing, depending on where you're at in your business. If you're just starting up and you don't have really got a marketing budget and you're doing it purely on organic, then maybe that's not the route for you at this point in time, unless you've got budget for it. But if you are spending a marketing budget now and you're doing it yourself, then it's definitely worth considering. So I hope that helps, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.